Hi, everybody. Welcome to OnPoint Mentors. Thanks so much for joining us today. We have one of our mentors, Carolyn Dickinson. She's a speaker, she's a trainer, she's a global executive coach, and an author. And she's an expertise in the areas of business, vision, communication, and leadership. So welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
It's such a pleasure to finally have this conversation and to meet you in person. I've been looking forward to this.
Thank you. Well, like I said, I've heard so many amazing things about you and how wonderful you are. So I'm excited to have this opportunity as well.
They're lying. Don't believe them.
No, come on.
Anyways, today's question is, you're a phenomenal coach and you have a lot of clients. And I know, it's a strange time, strange world that we're living in right now. And a lot of emotions are flying high and low and all over the shop. So how do you help your clients manage their emotions in this divisive world?
That's a fabulous question. And it is challenging because no matter who we are, what business we're in, what our expertise is, we all have a past. And when you have a past, there's certain things that will trigger us. We all have triggers. It doesn't matter who you are, what business you're in, how wealthy you are, we all have triggers. So it's really being aware of what your triggers are and understanding how to deal with them. So I work with my clients and I teach them that not just about business, but also there's that emotional intelligence that you need to have, right? Not just IQ, but EQ.
Right.
And so a big part of that is understanding what triggers you. So for example, one of the things that I teach my clients to do is that, sometimes a client will get upset with us and they'll email and the email will be this big rant and you read the email and all of a sudden it's like, what's going on? Like, what does that mean? Like, what are they saying about me? And so what I teach my clients to do, because I've experienced that at times as well, is that after you've read the email, do not respond. So the key thing to do when something like that happens is get up, walk away, give yourself some time to decompress, then go back and read it. Because here's what I've learned. When you go back the second time and read the email, it's often not exactly the way you read it.
Right.
Then sit back and go, wait a minute, what's going on for my client right now? Or what's going on for this person right now?
Right.
And when you can look at it more objectively and not emotionally, then what I would recommend you do, and if it comes in the afternoon or evening, respond the next day. And what I don't do is do not respond to the email, pick up the phone. Because here's the thing too, is that when someone has sent you an email and they're upset, and just like how you reacted and got triggered, even though what you said might have been, or what they said might have been, correct or not meant that way, you could also be having a bad day. When you call someone, you can say, hey, listen, I saw your email. You seemed really upset. Can you tell me more about that? Like, I'm not sure what's happening here. Yeah. But when you do that in an email, you give the person the opportunity to make assumptions.
Right.
And as soon as they make assumptions, you actually trigger it to another level. Right? So when you call them and they hear your tone of voice and they hear that you're not upset, a lot of times what'll happen is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to react that way. I was having a really bad day. And then I saw this and it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So it's really kind of realizing that when someone is upset, I'm not saying that in some cases it's not well-deserved. Maybe it is, depending on the circumstance or situation. But sometimes it's really not. And I say nine times out of 10, it's not about you. It's really just a situation. And I've had that. I've actually had clients say, that's it. I can't handle it anymore. I have to cancel, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'll see the email and I'll give it a minute and I'll give them a minute. And then I'll call them and I'll say, hey, what's happened? What's going on? And a lot of times they got themselves in a crazy state because something happened that made them question themselves or question a situation, and they just reacted. And so after talking to them and explaining how we could sort the situation out, they're like, okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, I'm good. Right? So it's really your job is to recognize your own emotions, your own emotions and your emotional state, and understand not to take things that are said to you and things that are written personally.
Right.
Take a step back for a moment and look at what's really written, because one of the things about communication and one of the things about emotion is they're very connected. So we speak and communicate and listen with our past, with our past experiences, with our expectations that we've been given from culture, from our family, from everything.
Right.
And so that's all inside of us, our subconscious. And it's actually kind of interesting because I was actually doing an article around communication and listening, and I did some research, and 95% of how we react to things comes from our subconscious. Only 3 to 5% is in our conscious. So the reality is that all the things in your past still is back there. It's part of you. It's never going to go away. You probably learned how to deal with stuff, but it's still there. And
Right.
so there is a reactional state that you occur in. And so what you want to do is realize that, be aware of that, step back for a moment and go, wait, what's really going on here? Because it isn't probably about me.
Right.
And give yourself a time to get perspective. And again, every time I've done that and my clients have done it, they call me back and they're like, oh my God, you're 100% right. That situation went way better than I expected. Right? And we always assume the worst. It seems to be a natural thing we all do. So if you need to do that, again, let it happen, step away, take a moment, come back, review it again. Sometimes I need to do 2 or 3 times. And you know what, here's what I've even recommended to some clients, that close person that is your coach or maybe somebody you work with, and my clients and I have a deal. If something like that happens, they have what's called an emergency call, and they need to obviously deal with it. And we might not have a call till next week. So they can use those emergency calls. They have like a little batch of them. Call me up and say, this is the email that was sent with me. And then I can either read it or they can tell me and I can give them perspective.
Good idea. Emergency calls. I love that.
Yeah.
So it's like having the bat phone next to you.
Exactly, right? So they'll text me and go, I really need to talk to you. Like if I can't and I'm with a client or whatever, I'll say, no problem. I'm available at such and such a time. I'll call you back and we'll deal with it.
Uh-huh.
And so sometimes it's just having that sounding board to talk. And I have certain people in my life like that, including my coach, where things will arise. And, it's sometimes when you're in the middle of your own stuff, it's hard to take perspective.
Right.
And so making sure you have those resources around you, like really trusted people that are going to really tell you the truth, not tell you what you want to hear too, right?
Yeah.
Those people don't help you, just so you know.
Yeah.
But it's really getting that perspective and realizing maybe that there's a difference way of looking at it that you're missing that could impact your business much more powerfully, your relationship with that person, everything. So that would be one of the key things that I would recommend when it comes to emotion, is really just understanding your emotion, understanding your triggers, and understanding that you got to do that step back. You got to wait a moment before you respond. I've seen relationships, business opportunities destroyed by not doing that.
Wow.
So
that's great advice, honestly. Now, okay, so you say step back and wait a moment. Do you have a time frame? Like some people say 24 hours.
Well, it depends on the trigger level.
Right.
So I think it really depends on you. So I've had situations where an accusation was made at me. Oh. And I'm not good with people that I'll be honest, that if you question my, like if you're putting my integrity on a questionable level, because I'm very respectful of my integrity, I'm very careful with it, I'll probably be triggered more than anything else.
Right.
So on those ones, I need to, if that were to happen, probably, if it came at 4:00 in the afternoon, I'm not responding till the next day. Right. Yeah. I'm going to give myself some time to decompress. And also, too, at the end of the day, I'm pretty tired.
Right.
Right. And if they say, well, you didn't answer me yesterday, I said, well, I was in meetings all day. By the time I got back to it, it was late.
Right. Right.
Right. And it's not really a lie. It's really giving yourself an opportunity to absorb the information and come back more powerfully, not just for yourself, but the person you're speaking to.
Right.
Because you can develop, by being able to have that level of communication and that ability to do that, you're going to have a higher respect from people.
Right. Right. Well, the same thing goes with chats, right? I mean, sometimes the chats go so fast and your thumbs do weird things. Yeah. And people, you got to read between the texts.
Yes, you do.
And, yeah. That could be dangerous.
I tell people, be very careful. I'm very careful about business stuff, about texting back and forth.
Right.
Again, rather pick up a call. If they say, I wanted to chat with you about this, can we chat over text? I'll be like, no. If I see things going in a direction that I can see there's going to be all of a sudden a reaction to something, I'm the first person to say, you know what? I'm in the middle of something. Let me give you a call in 10 minutes so we can actually talk about this.
That's great advice.
But take control of the situation, because you can. Mm-hmm. And whether you're in the middle of something or not, it doesn't matter, right? Like the reality is that you're doing that to prevent a blow up that doesn't need to happen. And I've seen, like, there was somebody texting me, I remember this a while back, and this was actually a friend, and I responded to something. And because I was in the middle of something, I probably was a little more blunt in my response than I would normally be. And they took offense to that. So I said, you know what? No more texting. I'm just in the middle of something. Give me 10 minutes so I can be 100% focused with you. And I'm going to call you. So all of a sudden it's like they stopped. They realized, wait a minute, she's in the middle of something. It's not about me.
Right.
And then we got on the phone and really we resolved it faster. And I do that with people too. A lot of times when we're working on stuff, I know that technology is the future. I get it. But sometimes I have spent an hour responding back and forth in an email, whereas I picked up the phone and I was done in 10 minutes. That's an hour of my time during the day. I'm sorry, but that's a lot of time. I get it that I'm not talking to you on the phone and maybe that's better for you, but it's not better for me wasting an hour going back and forth and waiting for you to respond.
That's right.
Then getting on a quick call and saying, hey, listen, you know what? I know you're really busy, me too. So I want to value your time. So can we have a quick call? Here's what I'm looking for. Can you do it? Yeah, fine. Great. Thanks. By this date. Perfect. Bye. Click. Done.
That is terrific advice. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So taking that moment, stepping back. If it's late in the day, wait until the next morning. Always have some support people around you who tell the truth.
Yes.
And tell you exactly what they think, and then just hop on a call. I love the just hop on the call. People aren't doing it enough these days.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
We're too reliant on messaging, Facebook, social media. I tell people, if you're going to contact me on social media, I said, like, and you want to actually have a conversation with me, I'll people message me. I'm working. I'm not on social media all the time. I check once in a while. If you really want to get in touch with me, email me. I'll respond faster. And if I look at the email, like even with my clients, if they email me and I can usually sense if there's something going on with them. I don't even respond. I pick up the phone. I go, what's going on?
Right.
I'm like, oh, you called me. I'm like, yeah, because I could tell in your wording that something's up. What's happening? Because faster, I look at it this way too, as supporting my clients. And that's why they have emergency calls. If something's going on and we can deal with it right now, instead of a call next week, that's when they booked with me, they won't be stuck for the next 5 days. Right. And so I don't want them stuck. I want them to be able to every day be able to move forward. So if I can help them get through it in 10 or 15 minutes versus 5 days, that's worth it.
That's fabulous, Carolyn. Thank you so much for spending the time. I know we only get 10 minutes in this summit, but I certainly want to have a longer conversation with you and maybe have you on our mentor spotlight seat.
Love to, anytime.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Carolyn. I appreciate you spending the time.
All right. Take care. Bye. Everyone.